Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Pawn Productions brings you a new style horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, there's Jason's mask.
What's up, horror fans? I'm back again with my brother-in-law, Jason. Jason, what's up?
Sup.
So, I'm here to do another podcast, obviously, and the movie we're doing today is called Never Leave Alive.
Never leave alive, ever.
And this movie is not what I expected it to be. It was decent, I'll say that.
Yeah.
This movie I got from Wild Eye Releasing. I hit them up and let them know I have a dope podcast. And I asked them if they'd send me some movies. They sent me 7 of them, which I will do eventually all of them on here. This is the first one. Again, Never Leave Alive. Yes, big shout out to Wild Eye. And actually, I have a list of the movies here, so I'll tell you them real quick. The Devil's Well, Jurassic Dead, House of Salem, Bojangles, 2047, Virtual Revolution. Again, the movie that we are doing, Never Leave Alive. House on Elm Lake. So, jumping into this movie, it all starts out, the main character, his name is Rick. You see him on a dock, passed out, sleeping, having dreams. You see him seeing this older man and a deer a buck, I guess they call it. Had some grown male deer. And he's sleeping on a dock. Some bald dude, I think his name is Tim. Tim or Tom?
One of the two.
Tim or Tom. He comes up to him. I guess it's his boss or somebody, and he wakes him up. He's asked him if he slept there all night. He said, technically, it's not all night if I got here after 12 a.m., so I've been here all day.
So he kind of plays the degenerate drunkard.
He was
Not just the degenerate drunkard, but they kind of, they have him play the, he's kind of the character where they've slacked off their talent in life, or they're basically overglorified for some accomplishment or not, but haven't really lived up to that since then. He's
because he let the fame get to him.
Yeah, he's like the pretty boy, televised adventurer type. So he had I got some entitlement about him, from what he's done. But I mean, he's he's got the smart mouth, sarcastic, always wants to get drunk type, So he had a kind of funny side to him.
Yeah. Yep. And then you get So, anyways, they go on. Pretty much, they're going to an island. Or no, they don't. Where were they going? Were they going to another island?
They were going to a cruise.
They're going on a cruise. But where were they headed to on the cruise?
I think some type of
some sort of like island or resort type thing.
Yeah, where they were supposed to be doing a photo shoot.
Photo shoot,
like that.
Okay.
That's why the girl was there. And on the boat, when they finally all get on the boat and everything like that, he meets the girl, of course, Clash A, they run into each other. He's basically, having that portrayal of a man, and she's basically, you chauvinistic pig, I'm so disgusted with your species of type, blah, blah, blah. That type of thing. And then that's when disaster strikes. It kind of took a while. I mean, I think that they
dragged it out too much.
It took a while getting to a lot of their points.
I agree.
Or not so much a lot of their points, but a lot of their basically, the things that you look for in a movie. Mm-hmm. The turning points in every movie, and they all have them. I just think that, there was a little bit more talking than necessary. And as we're detailing this movie, we'll go along at other points where it definitely does that. But then it comes to the point where they have the calamity at sea, I guess, with the boat.
Oh, yeah, where it explodes. Which,
yeah.
Before we even really dive into that, as Jason was just saying, like, there was way too much talking and not enough action in this movie for me. Like, I just felt they could have chopped it up some, had more stuff going on.
Yeah.
Around the talking. Because there was, like, well, I'll say this when we get to the island. But, okay, so you're on the ship blows up, and we're watching the movie laughing at the way that because the movie did look really good with production.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
Until the fire. The fire.
Yeah.
To me, actually, we said this during the movie again. I was like, "Yo, doesn't this fire look like you get the log fires?
Yeah.
That you get at your house.
Yeah.
Back in the day, someone turns it on. Like it really heats up. It really gets warm, but it just has like that.
Yeah.
Or like the not the log, but like the other fires where it's just the flames.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
You see those in offices.
Yeah.
Or like you could bottles like at Walmart or something like that. Whatever. It's like they took a video recording of that type of flame and just cropped it and put it in the background above this ship. So it was looking all type of crazy for a second.
Yeah, it was like that, honestly, if not worse, because like it was just bad. Like I know you can't have real fire there, but
right.
With the whole CGI thing, I don't know enough about stuff like that, but I feel like fire should be something kind of easier to manage.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but we also don't know, what they had to go through to make this movie, what their budget was.
Exactly.
What type of special effects they were working with. But for what they were looking to do, also kind of another thing, like during certain scenes, I feel like for a more realistic effect, they did a little too much with the shaking of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of took away a little bit from whatever effect that they had, even if they didn't have much effect. It kind of brought a little less value to it. But the point was clearly, what they were going for, the point was clearly definitely made, with their a lot of their scenes,
Yeah. So you get from there, you get the boat, the ship explodes. You think who's going to survive. Rick is going to survive. The girls are going to survive.
Yeah, and then I didn't even really peep how, and we'll get into that, the characters that were on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude and
yeah,
everything.
When he bumped him going down the stairs.
Didn't even people, because, that bump, when you see it, the bump between Rick and I guess we'll call him the main villain.
Oh, what was his name? What was it? It wasn't Ivan. I'll try to look that up.
Colonel.
We'll just call him Colonel because that's what they called him mainly.
Yeah, it was Colonel. It was Colonel. But yeah, and I didn't even realize that. Like it was. I mean, once that came into play, then now more. I want to say more substance was brought to the movie. Cause now there was a plot twist, a legitimate, decent plot twist that was tied into it. So I mean, that's what made it cool. That's what made it actually really, really dope. It wasn't the thing about some privately produced movies is sometimes you'll watch these movies and they'll have the over cheesy acting.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I definitely appreciated about this movie. It didn't. I feel it didn't have.
No, it really didn't.
Over, you and listeners, we're all humans. We're all, definitely fans of the art of movie making, acting, all of that. Everything that goes along with the genre. So every one of you can definitely appreciate it and can understand when I'm talking about that cheesy, just over horrible acting. It wasn't that they actually acted pretty well in this. I mean, which was a good thing. They acted their parts out, didn't overdo it, so where were we? So okay, they get to the island, and when they get to the island, out of everyone on the ship, only 3 people make it. Which was
it was Rick, Anna, and a guy named Samuel.
Yeah, and that's one thing that bothered me. What was the relevance of
him even surviving?
I can only tie the relevance of him to one thing, which I can't even talk about right now.
Okay.
So we'll get back to. I'll just bring that back up later.
Yep.
What would be the relevance of him? But there were 3 characters. And those are the 3 characters.
There was two guys on the island. There was Ivan and then Captain Zaroff.
Colonel
Zaroff.
Yeah.
And
Colonel Zaroff. Yeah. So they were already on the island, and as
my first issue before we get into this, get into the movie, because I'll explain it as we're going on. But my first issue, as far as with them getting on the island, is that there was only 3 survivors on that big ass ship. I understand it because it was exploding, but
and from the beginning scene or whatever, they kind of panned to a time before what that happened with, I guess, previous survivors. Remember that the
the first scene when the movie started up, you seen a bunch of stuff going on where there was other people on the island,
and they was getting killed and everything like that or whatever. Now it would have been dope if they had way more than 3 survivors. And out of those 3 survivors, the only people that were actually active was Rick and Anna.
But the thing was,
because dude's leg was all type of broke.
Yeah, so, he was all tore up.
I mean, he was hanging on for dear life.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't have any scenes where he was really talking.
Not till the end.
Wasn't really
relevant at all.
Can we even say was he relevant?
He really wasn't till the end. Till the end for a few minutes.
Yeah, which like I said, we'll tie back into that. But yeah, so it definitely, I agree. It would have. There's a lot that would have changed about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me, it's a lot that I would have changed. It would have eliminated a lot of extra time
for just bullshit and talking about nothing.
Yeah, going through emotional, psychological history between characters, their shortcomings, their fears. Nobody cares. Now, if you could have panned that out to having more than one set of stories,
mm-hmm.
I mean, bridging how these 3 characters are going through their type of midlife crisis in their home, bridge how this family are trying to escape bankruptcy or something like that or whatever. This girl just lost her mom and is an orphan. Different characters.
Exactly.
So now when the action comes in, now your heart throbs at okay, how is this character going to die? When is this character going to die? How is it going to turn it? But it really wasn't too much of that because now we're only dealing with two characters, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
Another thing is like again with the survivors, which we can kind of get into it. Well, I'll say this first. So they get on the island or whatever. You know, it's Anna, Samuel, and Rick, and they're trying to help Samuel as best they could.
mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, you see some big bald-headed diesel dude.
Yeah, like,
Ivan.
that was suspect as I'm like, I'm looking at dude and already as soon as, if it's me, I'm already looking for something sharp or looking for a rock.
You're on alert.
I don't trust you.
But they're
Like,
calling
you
him
walking
like,
around
hey, who are
with
you?
a muscle shirt and a bag, a satchel on your side. And it looked like he had some headphones on. I'm like, no.
He did.
Who are you security for?
He had some earbuds. He was
Like,
listening to some,
where you get earbuds from, bro?
he was listening to Ja Rule, that's all.
Nah.
Ja Rule cuts him through a lot of things.
No trust. Like, see, I wouldn't trust no situation like that. No. And then they're like, I get it. You know, your shipwreck mate is got literally his whole thigh bone was broken, all exposed and everything. But nah, at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't really grow up in a sandbox with this guy, so
Yeah.
I mean, if he already looked like he's going to die. There's but so much that I'm gonna be able to do for him. I'm not gonna put myself at more danger trying to save someone who's about to die anyway.
But they
that
did.
sounds really inhumane. And viewers, again, please don't judge me. I said that on the last podcast that I was on. I want to reiterate that, not to be judged. I'm just a realist. I am a realist. So realistically, no, I'm not judging you. But movie-wise, it fit the term. It actually bugged me out because I mean they're trying to get his attention and he's dead ignoring them.
Yeah.
Dead ignoring
He
them.
really is.
And then it's like at the last second he just it's like he's picking flowers and he's ignoring them like what a beautiful day. He put his flowers in his satchel on his eye. And then he like walks up to them.
Pretty much.
I mean, so and like it was just like that part was a little it was a little I won't say creepy, I won't say weird, so I'll say creered.
This guy said creered. Over here making up words in a
I
Search
do
30
make up words.
podcast.
Be looking out for Jason's dictionary of words coming the fall of 2019. Gonna have a dictionary of words. But back to the movie. So so Ivan, he's Russian, big, bald headed. He's got like the body type of like
he should be in the WWF.
He should.
Sorry, WWE.
Like, yeah.
But
he helps them back, I guess, to their compound where
you meet the Colonel.
Yeah.
Eventually, because
Colonel Nutcase.
Because they bring him back to the place. They're helping him out. They're helping out Samuel, Ivan, and Anna, and Rick is just kind of standing there chilling. So then the Colonel walks in. He starts talking.
Creepy.
And he pretty much said, they ask who he is. He says, he eventually answers, I'm the Colonel. Who are you guys? They tell him who they are. And then this is where it kind of gets a little weird for me.
Starts getting weird. Because
it's like when they separate, obviously. It always happens in these type of movies. But so Ivan and the chick Anna stay at trying to, help Samuel. Because I'm guessing they have the talent to do that. Mm-hmm. And the Colonel invites Rick to his little palace or whatever, his little place to hang out and have a couple drinks. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, this is kind of the wrong time for that shit. Like, if you're trying to save somebody's life, and then you're gonna go accept it.
Well, I mean, but you're also missing the fact that so before that, they kept asking him, so you guys are the only person on the island,
and they never answered.
And so professionally, they just.
That is true.
Leave the whole question.
They did, because I believe
they're like, you guys the only people on the island? Yeah, you guys are safe now. You look like you want a drink. You want a drink? No, I don't want no
pretty
drink.
Much. It was pretty much like this. And I think Anna asked Ivan, like, are you guys the only ones on the island? And he was like, Yeah, I live. He's like, yeah, we live on an island.
Yeah, basically.
But he didn't say. And I pointed it out a few times.
Yeah, I
he
live
never
on
said
an island.
anything about
No,
other
that's
people
not
there.
what I asked you, my guy. My guy, I asked you, are you the only ones on the island? Yeah, I live on the island. Obviously.
Yeah.
Are you the only ones on the island? Yeah, I live on the island. Nah. Yeah. Yeah. But they kept doing it. So now we got in one scene, we got Ivan, Anna, and what's the injured guy's? Samuel, who's hanging on for dear life. At first I was like, oh, he's not gonna. No. First, Colonel's like, oh, he's not gonna
survive.
It. So, but they're still trying to do, everything they can or whatever. So, Ivan, he's wrapping him up. Just giving them all type of, syringes from stuff. Where they get this stuff from, don't nobody know. Nobody's thinking about none of this right now, but that'll come into play later.
Mm-hmm.
But he's basically like he's doctoring him up, and she's peeping. You're really good at this. Is this what you do? Like, where did you come from? What is it you do?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one scene, and then another scene now. You have the Colonel with
Rick chilling and drinking some vodka. Now, here's the part that got me. Listen to this. So they're chilling, drinking, right? They're going back and forth, talking about hunting and all this. Rick calls the dude out. He's like, you're not... So the guy's
Rick was
a hunter.
bold. Rick was bold. Like,
he was bold as shit.
I wouldn't even talk to a dude like that. You on his island.
Yeah.
And he's saving you. You can tell
you
dude
think...
has weapons around.
Yep.
He's just going... Like, he was bold. I was real American.
The dude's a hunter. Like, what he said was he had animals shipped in for him to hunt. Rick was like, that's not a real hunter. You should go to their habitat.
Right.
They have a chance to get away, blah, 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 blah.
And dude was like, no, tell me I'm not a real hunter. Like, what you mean? Like you can tell he was getting offended. And instead of Rick seeing this and saying, oh, no, I mean no offense, you know what?
He kept going.
He kept going. He let that liquor talk for him. Like,
not only that, but as he's drinking, Rick is drinking, the guy's putting something in his drink. You don't see him actually doing it, but there's a quick shot where you see a little bottle of something next to a glass, and he's like, hey, you want some more vodka? And he's like, yeah. And so then Rick's like, they start arguing a little bit. Rick gets up to try to leave, and he passes out on the ground. Now, this is the part of like, all right, what the hell's going on? Because the dude had him like bent over his couch in a way. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, please do not tell me he's going to rape this dude. This is not what needs to happen.
Yeah, nah.
I got nervous.
That would have been a bad moment. I wouldn't have been looking forward to that at all.
And I was like, oh shit, this is going to be bad. And then in the scene before that, back at when they're where Ann and Ivan were, where they're helping Samuel, I pointed out a bottle of chloroform, duct tape, and rope. Those things mixed together.
Renaissance, why are you still here?
That's, nothing good's coming out of that.
Why are you still here? No, warning signs. Mm-hmm. She's looking around because
she's kind of suspicious.
She's steadily asking him about
like the island.
Yeah,
who
the
else
island,
is here?
the origins of the island, everything like that. And to be honest, verbally, Ivan is way more sketchy than the Colonel is. Like, you can clearly read his vibes. Like, something is not right. Mm-hmm. So, she goes to the bathroom or whatever. And
well, the thing with that is, and this jumps back to another movie we did. Oh, what movie? House of Wax. Right. Asks to use the bathroom, doesn't go to the bathroom, going being nosy.
Exactly. So honestly, I think that she deserved to die then, but just off of that rule, stop being nosy in other people's house.
Yeah, if
you don't live there, you don't know what that family has went through. You ask to go do something to somebody's house, you go to do that. See, that's how these people are not raised right. That's the problem with America. No, raise your kids right before they die in somebody's movie. That's my point. Raise your kids right before they die in somebody's movie. Anyway, so she goes and does the typical dumb thing to do in a movie, and you start snooping around the house. What happens when you snoop around somebody's house? Well, usually find something that you don't want to find.
And that's what happened. She found
And
like
not
something-
only that, you're not paying attention.
Not at all.
Because you're so caught up in, oh my God, look at these files. No one cares about the files. It looks like a creepy room. I'm instantly judging off the room look. Like, that's it. I'm gonna peek in the room. Nope, this looks sketchy. I'm out of here. Like, but no, you want proof.
Yep. And then with the files, it was pretty much saying how these guys were kicked out of the army or whatever.
Yeah,
they were
was
fighting
in
for Russia.
in a KGB, which if you know anything about life, history, anything, they basically had like Russia files, like they were like mercenaries or something like that. But I guess some type of foul play. They did some creepy, crazy thing that creepy, crazy people do and got kicked out. They were basically deposed or whatever. I can't think of the right word. But they were put on that island. They got all their supplies, whatever. I'm not sure if they still get current shipments. They didn't really make that part
That's
sure.
one thing they didn't say. They didn't say how they got on the island. Why? I mean, they're on the island to hunt, I guess, whatever. But they didn't say how they got there.
But they obviously do leave the island. Obviously.
They have to.
They obviously. Because
They either leave it or they get something. How would they get this shit? Well,
he tracked dude specifically.
Yes, and then you figure out. You figure that out. He was like, look, I was after Rick. All those people died. They were just casualties. They were just on the ship. Oh well.
Yeah.
And you're the chick. He said she was pretty much like a bonus.
Something to prove. At the end of the day,
yeah.
Dude's mind frame is I'm a hunter. Everything that I've been getting really hasn't been worth my game. I want to hunt something that's going to be.
Yep. He said you'd be the biggest trophy. Talking about Rick.
Yeah. He's basically he done killed all type of alligators, buck, bear, every type of animal. It's boring. So. And obviously, you've killed other humans.
Yes.
Put them in same situations as those animals have. Boring. What's best to do? I want sport. I want game. And that's why he basically tracked dude. That's how they basically sabotaged the ship. Had it blow up and everything like that. Like it was all planned out. Which, like I said, kudos to the writers who tied that story plot in.
I got something to say about that now. Now, this goes back to the shoulder bump you were saying. When they were on the ship, Rick's going downstairs. When Tom sends him downstairs, but he's talking to the captain about what route they're going to take. Mm-hmm. So he sends him downstairs, and Rick bumps into a guy. You don't know who it is until later in the movie. Mm-hmm. The guy says, you bumped into my shoulder. And then it shows like a flashback of those two bumping into each other. It shows the guy looking back, and you see his face. Mm-hmm. My thing with that is, how did you get off the ship? Because the ship blew up maybe 10, 15 minutes after that.
If you was listening, there in the background, there was
there was a lifeboat.
No,
right?
There was occasional it was like a SOS radio response or whatever, and it was saying that on that boat, one of them had been detached. Mm-hmm. That's how.
One of the lifeboats.
Yeah, that's how the colonel got off of the ship.
The colonel.
Yeah.
And possibly Ivan, because they didn't show Ivan.
Right.
So he was either on the island already or.
Right. Either one. But that's how that happened. That's how that happened.
But they got over there. I mean, they didn't. See, this is another thing.
They planned their coordinates and everything, where they wanted it to explode at.
No, I get
where
that.
Where they wanted it to be and how close it was going to be to the island and everything.
Okay, because like when the ship blew up, the way they made it look was like it was nowhere near land.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
but we wouldn't know that.
We don't know that because they didn't show you every single view. They honestly, when the ship blew up, they showed you one view.
Yeah, and it was
of the side of the ship. So
on at that time too. So yeah, so boom. Now he's exposing himself, which takes forever. At this time, Ivan finds the nosy girl, which is Anna.
He yokes her
up. Okay, now that you know the plans, let's go. And so they bring them all together.
And this is when the guy's pretty much like, look, this is when he tells them, like, look, pretty much what we just said about how I was on the ship. I'm a hunter. You're a hunter.
Yeah.
Listen, this is the game.
Yeah, we're gonna play a game. Now, what I don't understand about that whole chloroform thinging, the drugging thinging, is 1 second, Rick was like literally like
Out.
The next second, you are clearly and strongly able to throw a whole glass. You miss.
Yeah,
But you're able to throw a glass. And then the next second, you go back to being paralyzed.
Loopy, yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
really.
I mean, I guess he was
wasn't
kind of
really
in and
feeling
out of it.
that.
I kind of get it,
I
but
wasn't
like,
really feeling that. I mean, if it was something that happened gradually, like you gradually, it will build
like
to
so
that
if he
or whatever.
or if he threw it before he passed out, because he passes out.
Nah, I wouldn't respect
right?
it if he threw it before he passed out. I mean, that would kind of be, just it would be regular to me. For what they were going to do, I think that if you were going to allow him to build it up, if that was the point for you to, have him do it at a weakened state, you should have did it differently. That's what I think.
How do you think they should have? Just because we're on it now.
Oh yeah, I think just that part, and yeah, that's a segment that we'll do. But just for that part, I think that he should have definitely either. Yeah, the only way it would have worked is if you would have had him wait longer to be able to throw that cup.
Wait
Because
longer.
from how he did it.
I would say, okay, you could say wait longer. 1, 2. Let's say he threw it and maybe he hit him, but not like you know what I mean? Not like crazy. Or 3, he's attempting to throw it, but he drops it because he's so loopy. Like he picks it up and just kind of passes out, and the cup falls with him.
Sorry, I had to drink. Side note: drink water. Water's good for you.
Yes, drink lots of water.
Water's good. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's me. I would have, like I said, I would have appreciated it more if he was. I think that if it would have came out that he was poisoning him sooner, because he just went from 1 second he's regular and he gets up and he's
when he stands
out
up
and
is when
he's out.
Well, when he's sitting, you see the camera effects where it makes you know that he's messed up.
Now, if he'd have threw it right then and there, I would have respected it.
That might have been good right
threw
there.
it right then and there,
Or-
once you seen the loopiness, I would have respected it.
When he stood up.
When he first stood up.
Yeah,
I
when he
would've
first stood up.
respected it. I
There you
didn't
go.
respect it how it happened. But that's cool. That's
So
cool.
we get there, we get to this part. He's talking the colonel's talking about how he's a hunter and all this, and how he wants to kill Rick. So he pretty much says, "Here's the game. There's a boat on the other side of the island. If you two get there and survive, you're good. You can go free. But your easiest way to do this is to kill me." Those are his exact words, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so the girl's like, "What if we don't want to play?" And then the guy's pretty much like, "I'm going to kill you guys anyway, so you might
Right,
as well.
you might as
You don't
well."
really have a choice."
Right.
So now, going back to what we were discussing a few minutes ago about why this movie would have worked better for us if there was more survivors that made it to the island, was because they had some pretty cool traps. Like
Yeah.
the very first trap you see,
Yeah.
the woman's having an attitude, and
Naturally, woman.
they're walking off, or she's like walking ahead, and her leg gets grabbed, and she's getting pulled. You see it getting pulled by a chain.
Is it bad that I wanted her to go through that?
I kind of did.
I wanted her to go through that. Now, or better yet, as you were saying now, if there were other characters,
Yes.
I wanted somebody to die going through that.
And anyways, the chain pulled down through a hole, and then you see the hole. They show the hole or whatever, and it's like a bunch of sticks, or like real sharp sticks, poking out
he
all around and
sharpened
down,
up, either some wood,
like
or
branches
some
or whatever.
bone or
Yeah.
something. It could have.
So it would have tore somebody up.
I don't know, but like in the size of the hole, it would have fit a body. But as it was pulling you through, it would have shredded your body.
Oh, yeah.
I really would have wanted to see.
And
somebody
this is
die
why.
through that. On the horror, maybe that's the horror side of me.
Yeah,
that was excited about that.
That's
I mean, it could have been an action part too, but yeah, like I want.
But that's what would have made it better, because it's like you have that way. If you have a few survivors, you have those quote unquote wastable characters. Let's say,
we need those
because you need the weaker ones to kill off in these type of movies. I feel, and then you need the one or two survivors.
It fills the movie.
And it definitely gap fillers. So you had that one. You had one where there was like a ball and chain type thing that just like swung from one tree to another, which would have taken somebody's head clean off.
Yeah.
You
They
had
had a claim. They had a
Claymore,
claymore. They had,
but that never exploded.
They had a trap
that dropped
that would have dropped. They
and
had a
stabbed
few
him.
good ones. They
The-
had a few good
The one
ones.
with the Claymore thing, because you had turned your head at the time. The guy tackles the girl.
Yeah, because he's basically distracting her, talking
Yeah.
to her, whatever.
He tackles her, and the Claymore doesn't blow up. But then you find out they're looking up, and you see that one trap with all the sticks and stuff
Yeah.
like coming down the drop. So that's probably what the trap was supposed to be. That would have been another dope kill.
Right.
You also had one.
Somebody, yeah.
You also had one where this one didn't go off, but the girl, I guess, at some point she said she went around and was checking for traps, and she kind of figured out where a lot of them were at. And
So
it was,
look, here's the point about that though, because it's like for one, as a fan, you feel cheated because generally, and I'm saying this, it's not a surprise to any of you. In a movie, there are it's common knowledge that on an 8-to-10 ratio, the main character and or usually the supporting character do not die. Cannot die, will not die. Common knowledge. It's a fact. It is something that will never change about the majority of movies and how they're made. So knowing this fact, now you're dealing with the fact that you're watching two characters go through this movie. You know neither one of them are dying. You can only hope that one of them may die just to fill you in on some much needed or much lacked on action there. Somebody's gotta die.
yeah.
Somebody has to. I understand the title. I understand what you're going through. Somebody, in order for there to be fulfillment in your movie, somebody has to die. And I feel like because there were not enough characters, we as viewers were kind of left, I guess, to be honest, personally a little unsatisfied on that front. Just because of the fact that I didn't get enough. And once again, these were really some of these traps were really dope. They were really dope put in. They were really dopely made. You can envision the gore that would have came with it. You can see all of that.
Like they had a trap where because the girl found this one. Remember with the little crossbow where you trick there was a trick wire in there.
There was like 2 or 3 traps right after each other. So
Yeah.
guaranteed
The
if
quicksand,
there was enough people, then the quicksand
that
would
would've
have
been
guaranteed they had, like I said, it would have guaranteed, even if it would have missed one character, the next one would have caught some other character. Somebody would have died, got hit with something good. I mean, like, that's it. I felt robbed of blood and guts and just soul wrenching violence.
And
I felt like I didn't have that. And being how all of the details played out in the movie, once you watch the whole movie, you can agree that a little bit more violence,
a lot more,
would have satisfied a lot more to you, which would have brought up your quality of this movie. And again, this wasn't a bad movie, to be honest.
Like, honestly, I'm not giving you guys my rating now, but I'd give this movie a higher rating if there was a lot more killing, blood and guts.
Most definitely.
The type of movie that this was, that they were portraying up to us, was it was supposed to be really violent. It did have some fight scenes in it and all that, some cool fights in it, but really violent and like really, really gory. Like there should have been a lot more kills.
Yeah, and it wasn't. So it kind of your expectation. I mean, sometimes it's hard to set an expectation with a movie like this, but you will, no matter what, you'll have some type of expectation, and it kind of robs that of that a little bit.
It does.
But I really still enjoyed a lot about it.
Yeah, like overall, I did have a good time with this movie for the most part. But like we were again, I'm gonna bring this point up again. Like we were saying, okay, here's it is. The movie was an hour and a half long. The ship blows up within the first half hour. Then you have like another half hour, 45 minutes of nothing.
talking dialogue, blah 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 blah.
I mean, you
emotional
have
stuff.
you have
You
them
think they're
tripping
gonna
over shit,
kiss and like have sex or whatever way earlier.
and they
Honestly,
don't.
I thought it was gonna go down in the waterfall scene. Didn't get no type of action there.
Nah.
Rob, there was a lot of scenes that they really could have taken more advantage of the viewer's attention. They didn't.
I get maybe them not getting it on, so to speak, just because of the
It's not PG-13, bro.
no, but just because of what was going on. But at the same time, I'm like,
show me someone's like nip or something, bro. Like,
yeah, we didn't get a nip slip in this
we
one.
didn't get a nip slip. We didn't get a cheek peek. We didn't get. Not to say that we were looking for that because we're married men and we love our wives and we are happily married men and we love our
but it's a
wives,
movie.
both of them. But it's a movie, bro. So.
But I'm saying though, like, I kind of get why that didn't happen, but I'm like, okay, I understand that didn't happen because it's like you're being hunted. But how the fuck are you gonna be sitting there talking for like 18 hours about some dumb shit? You're being hunted.
I don't like. No, I don't want to talk to you that much.
Like there
To
was
be honest, that's another thing that didn't make it realistic, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna say this in the mind frame of a single person once again. But bro, look, we're on this island. Literally, death is around the corner. At any corner, like, you might as well give me some, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well. And especially like that campfire scene, like, you might as well give me some, bro. We might die. We might die to death. Like,
yeah, and nothing happened.
nothing.
And that, you know what? You know when they could have done it? And I'm just gonna jump to the end real quick. The damn sunset kiss at the end of the movie.
Damn that.
That I'm gonna tell you why. That would have been the perfect time to do it because it's like, look, we just saved each other's lives. We don't know when help's coming. You might as well at least get this one going.
The whole way back, I don't
But-
care. As soon as, like, the whole way back, I don't
The
care.
whole way back.
I don't care the whole way back. Like, yo, look, listen to me. I put my life on a line for you, and you was a snob when I first. Nah,
She had a lot of
the
attitude.
whole way back. The whole way back. I'm just telling you right
You know
now.
what was you know what was crazy about this jumping back? Now remember, this is jumping back to when they first get on the island. They're carrying it's Samuel, Ivan, Rick, and the girl Anna, and they're carrying Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember when there was that wire, and the guy said, "Be careful, there's trip wire." That right there would have put something in my head. After the guy's talking about how he's gonna be hunting. Okay, there's gonna be some traps. Like they looked for no traps at all till they got caught.
You were supposed to be a world-class hunter.
Till they got caught
Why were
in
you
traps.
not looking for no traps?
And he was the one getting caught in them.
Yeah, like an idiot.
Yeah, oh my god.
All of that.
'Cause
he drinking that
that vodka.
It was that Seagram's gin. That's what's wrong with it.
No, you know what it was? He was drinking. He had that. He had the vodka, and then the Colonel hit up Bill Cosby and was like, "Yo, I need your shit in liquid form."
Yeah, nah, he definitely.
That's what happened.
Yo, the Colonel definitely had to hook up on a Bill Cosby juice on the island. That's how he got Rick, cause he hit him with that Bill Cosby juice. And that might be too soon to put. Nah, that's not too soon.
Nah, it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah,
Shout out to my boy Gibbs with the Cosbys. You already know, bro.
Chris Gibbs got the Cosbys on Dizzy. You're.
But anyway, so it's like, you know, the guy warned you about the one trap. The other guy's telling you that they're going to be hunting you, and you don't look for any traps at all until after you get caught in a few. Then the girl goes around, she finds a lot of the traps, whatever. Cool. That part kind of bothered me with this movie, and like I just like we were saying before, I'm going to keep bringing this point up. They needed to have at least 5 or 6 more people on this island just to kind of kill off. They could still have their little emotional scenes. They could have cut it down, but had their little emotional scenes.
Yeah, man.
Maybe even had it as like a group, but people are getting killed. People are getting picked off because you need
like,
that for something like this.
Without that many characters, you're waiting for something to happen that's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
So all you're really doing is looking at the TV, knowing what's gonna happen. Okay, fight scene coming.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna die. They're gonna get away. Okay. Yeah, it was definitely that's what made some of it really telegraphed.
You know what was another thing with this movie that I just thought of? There was no like oh shit or holy shit moments in this whole movie. Like holy shit, that really happened. If at all, I don't remember either one of us saying, but if at all, maybe in the very beginning where they're showing the kills on the island. Because there was a bunch of people then. But other than that, there was like no, and I don't even think we said it then. There was no like, oh shit, woo, look at that.
Jump. Nothing made you
and that right
too surprised.
Yeah, and that right there, like I'm saying, like we were saying,
and that's
to keep
surprising
repeating,
because, like I said, it was. I think it was written
pretty well. Yeah.
Pretty well. So it with that in mind, it kind of surprises you that there wasn't a oh shit moment.
It disappoints you too.
Yeah.
Because again, this is one of those movies where the build up and the way the guy's talking, the hunter's talking, you expect it to be, like I said, really violent. That's why you could have had 5-6 people, maybe more even, because you could have some quick kill offs, some little stupid kills, some pointless kills, and then some really good big kills. And you could have had a nice big kill. Here's what would have made the movie dope too. You have these other kills. You have the 2 survivors, obviously, but say if they had somebody, a third person with them all the way up till the end, not Samuel's broken ass. I mean, somebody that was helping them out a lot throughout the movie. Then you have them getting killed off towards the end of the movie for like the climax kill.
Yeah.
And then they kill off the colonel or whatever. But they didn't have that.
No.
It was just kind of like 2 back and forth. Ivan ends up. Might as well jump to it because really there's not much to talk about with this movie. Just here and there because there was a lot of pointless shit. So
Ivan was a Decepticon.
We get towards the end. Anna and Rick, they're running around. Somehow they circle back and go back to the tent where Samuel was. They try to save him.
We forget the fact that Ivan and Rick fought.
Yes, they did.
Ivan and Rick fought. And really,
Rick took him out, but he didn't kill him.
I ain't gonna hold you. Rick put beats on Ivan, and I didn't see that coming because, like, first of all, he's the stereotypical enforcer. He's the stereotypical
Musclehead,
bad guy enforcer.
He really is.
You see what I'm saying?
He even has the accent.
Everything down to the T. Down to every vein in his forehead. He's the stereotype. And Rick, he's the drunk dude.
Yep.
How do you let the drunk dude put you to sleep?
Yeah.
Rick put his ass to sleep.
And then left him there.
And then he called the colonel on the radio like, yo, come get your mans.
He's hurt.
Yo, I just put your mans out. Then you come get the nigga and you like Ricky throws a knife in him. He could have killed him. He should have killed him. Should have been the smartest thing. Hurt him. At least hit him.
Mm-hmm.
You totally miss him.
I would have cut his Achilles.
And I would have finished him.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if I didn't kill him, cut those Achilles tendons.
Something I would have set a trap. I'd have set a trap. It's a perfect time. You reversing on him. Set a trap.
But he didn't do that.
And then Colonel just wake Ivan up. He just hit him with the stick. Hey, get up. Like you're embarrassed. Like we're just gonna lick our wounds. So I'm just gonna let y'all walk away.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
So as that goes on, they go back. They circle back pretty much. They go back to try to help Samuel. They get there. Ivan shows up. No, does Ivan show up first or the Colonel?
Ivan shows up first. Because the Colonel was the bait.
That's right. Ivan shows up first. He comes in the tent, pointing his gun at Rick. Rick has a shotgun. Ivan puts his hand on the shotgun and says, "Drop it."
Yeah, like
throws it at the tent.
Instantly. You know what I mean?
Has the gun pointed at Rick. The Colonel comes in. Who gets the girl's knife? Ivan? Or the Colonel gets the girl's knife, right? Because he's pointing.
The Colonel gets the girl's knife.
Yep. And then the Colonel tells Ivan that he wants to talk to Rick alone. So Ivan tells the girl, pick him up, talking about Samuel laid out.
Yeah.
So she picks him up. Those 3 leave. They're walking off. Now it's just Rick and the Colonel.
Yeah.
You hear these 2 talking back and forth, and all of a sudden you hear a couple gunshots. A couple minutes later.
In your mind, and before you hear the gunshots, you see a little scuffle altercation between Ivan and
Samuel. Yeah, you do. You see a
So in your mind, then it pans off. It goes back to Rick and
the Colonel.
Rick and the Colonel. And in your mind, you are led to believe that, either they get the gun and shoot Ivan,
Or he kills them.
or Ivan kills them.
So then, they're talking. Rick and the Colonel are talking. Ivan comes back, and he's like, "Did you get the girl?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Ivan, did you kill the girl?" "Yeah." He's like, "Rick, look at Ivan." "Ivan, did you kill the girl?" "Yeah." Rick's like, or no, and then the Colonel's like, "Did he kill her, Rick?"
The Colonel don't buy it. So he tells
Rick was like,
"Yo,
no."
You look at him. Now, you think he did it? Rick's like, no.
And Rick says no, so then it shows the scene. Ivan pretty much warns him that he's like, "Look, I'm not really feeling this shit no more.
Right, yeah, here, take
This dude's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not a bad guy. Take it.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Whatever.
Go around here. You'll be safe." So then the Colonel shoots Ivan in the chest. He falls out. Pretty much after this, the Colonel and Rick fight. Rick thanks Ivan at some point. Then these two fight. Rick and the Colonel, they fight to the death, literally. Rick ends up stabbing him in his heart up against a tree with a big ass knife.
Yeah.
The chick comes running out of nowhere, talking about some, I don't know what the hell she said. I forgot.
That's because before that, when it's just her and
Samuel,
when it's just her and Samuel,
he dies
because they trip over one of the wires.
That's right.
And one of the traps I'm talking about goes straight through his chest.
That's right.
So there's no saying. And he's telling him, "Yo, look, nah, I'm about to die. Like, yo, go ahead." So she goes back. And around the time that Rick kills the Colonel, that's when, she's, "Oh my God, yeah, Samuel, he's dead. It's just us now. Yeah, you killed the Colonel. Ivan's dead. Everyone's dead. It's just us."
The Ivan kill, I almost thought like he could have survived in a sense.
I think he should have survived.
Only because, like, when he got shot, they clearly showed, and I thought they did this for a reason. They clearly showed he didn't get shot in the heart. He got shot on the other side of his chest. And I'm like, okay, so maybe he's going to survive, but he didn't, which it's a hit or miss. It's either way. It didn't really matter at that point. But you go from there, they end up at the beach, at the sunset.
And the sunset.
And the kiss.
Scene. Now.
Actually, hold up. We did skip a couple parts, though. Real quick. This is where I thought we were going to be able to see a titty, but we weren't. When they found out they had tracking on them, and Rick's like,
that was a little bit.
All the supplies they gave us, get rid of it. Because this was kind of towards the end-ish. He's like, all the supplies, get rid of it, and change your clothes. So she's changing her clothes. And he's like, you should probably change your bra, too. So she changed, but she goes behind some rock, and then the scene just goes back to the other people.
Whack.
So that was just a real quick thing.
Whack.
But then, so we get to the end of the movie, they kiss at the sunset, and then the movie pretty much goes off. So.
It was like, the cliche,
it was
sunset kiss.
It was.
She didn't put her leg in the air. That would have made it really, really cliche. She'd put her leg in the air with her.
Her leg should have been too damn tired to be putting up in the air all that day and running and jumping and shit they were doing. She pulled them out of quicksand.
You would have thought so.
But what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was a whole day before she'd pull them out of quicksand. She had a nap. The quicksand.
This was like almost the way it ended. I wouldn't really put it in the horror category. If they would have had more kills, that would have put it there possibly. More of a thriller / action / drama.
Yeah.
And like I said, just if they would have went with the idea, which we'll get into in a minute. But so you can even say romance just because of the way it ended. And with that being said, I want to jump into the slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy segment where we just kind of discuss what we would change about this movie, rate the movie, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to jump to you.
Okay.
What do you rate this movie? Let's say 5 out of 10. Let me think of something that was in this movie. Shit. Talk it. 5 out of 10 hunts. Or no, sorry, 10 hunts being the best. What would you give this movie? Not 5 out of 10. I'm sorry about that. Or let me say 10 hunting knives. How many hunting knives would you give this movie out of 10?
I would give this movie. I would say 6.5.
6.5?
I would say 6.5. Honestly, 6.5, maybe 7. 7 knives. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because like I said, one thing that grabs me is how well things are written.
Yeah,
I'm big on reading. I'm big on storyline. I'm big on character development, things like that. And I felt like this was very well written. The characters were very well put together. Despite the little things that maybe were lacking or whatever, but I think it was a really good movie.
Okay.
You know?
I'm gonna give it I'll say a 5.5, and I'm gonna say that just because they didn't have enough violence in it for me for what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Had they added that stuff in that we described
considering that,
earlier,
I have to give it a 6. Yeah, I have to stick with a 6.5. Yeah.
but other than that, like he was saying, the story was pretty solid. The story was pretty good. It just needed a little bit more.
With violence and everything, I probably would have jumped to like an 8.5. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, with the extra just with that simple thing right there with the extra characters, I would have easily given it a 7.
Kill off, it would have immediately been a 7.5, 8 for me. Maybe even an 8.5, most definitely. It would have more characters to kill off. The filling them was times, most definitely. You know, because the production was really good.
Oh, it was great.
It wasn't like your typical
B-rated movie.
Yeah, where you expect that horrible,
the quality not to look great.
Yeah, it was
it looked really
very
good
quality.
Besides,
well written, yeah.
Besides the fire, everything else looked great.
Yeah, besides the fire, everything else was A1.
Shit, I might even given you guys a 6 if this fire was looking a little bit better.
Yeah,
instead of a 5.5.
Yeah, that fire kind of,
that hurt. Like we were laughing at that part.
Yeah.
Literally laughing.
There was nothing suspenseful or horrified about my expression seeing that fire, but I mean,
you got to do what you got to do, though. I get that.
You got to do it.
I respect it.
We appreciate what you had to do. I mean, you put it in there, you did the best you can with that. And like I said, that's why, I rate that. I got to rate it at least, 6, 6.5. I mean, I thought you guys did a really good job with it. I would definitely add more characters. That's one thing I would most definitely hands down to.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you.
Get to the point. I feel like a lot of things were just overly dragged, overly talked, overly went over.
Yeah, yes.
No one cares what you did at 6 years old after you lost your first tooth. No one cares, to be very honest with you. And I don't say that to be mean or anything, but no one cared. No one cared.
All right,
no one cared at all. But I think that, with more characters to fill in that, I think that's what you were lacking. I think that's what the movie was lacking.
So you're pretty much answering my question. I was about to ask you what would you do to change this movie if it's up to you?
It needs more characters. It needed more
to
characters.
Make it better.
And I can't even say it needed more kills. It needed more characters to kill.
Yes.
That's what was missing.
Yes.
The characters. The diversity of characters. So I don't have to just expect one mind frame with this character. We know how Rick acts. We know how Anna acts. You needed to give me at least 2 to 3 different set of character traits to deal with. I needed the dumb character.
Yeah.
Where was my idiot character? I needed the know-it-all character. The proper I'm too good for this type of, you know what I mean? I want to say I needed the junkie character, but Rick's alcoholism kind of played that. There was no slut. Where was the slut? You need your slut. I don't care what type of things you're dealing with or going through in your movie. You need your slut. Every movie needs one. She doesn't have to be a slut in the movie, but she has to be the slut of the movie.
I get what he's saying with
that. I mean, like,
especially on a cruise and all that.
Yeah.
And there should have been more survivors. There should have been more.
Yeah, where was your knowledgeable guy that he knew the geographic? Because honestly, Rick didn't play that.
Nah.
So you needed your knowledgeable person, okay? So if you pick this herb, you can scratch it on his skin and it'll stop the bleeding for about 2 hours. But then you got to find another herb and have him eat that, and then it insert. You needed that guy. If you had more characters, in here, it doesn't matter.
More of a diverse group. More of a diverse group with like
it would
different
way
mindsets.
More of a diverse group. Yeah.
And like,
that would have definitely helped a lot. That would have probably bumped your movie up to, like I said, at least an 8.5.
Another thing too is like the Coast Guard. Where's the Coast Guard? A ship blew up, and this is like a cruise ship blew up.
That's the whole thing. A lot of the
you heard like
weren't realistic enough.
You heard the radio stuff in the background, but you never seen anything. You never seen a helicopter. You would have seen something.
Yeah, you would have seen.
You didn't see that through the whole movie. You didn't see another ship through the whole movie.
There's no place that remote. Anytime where a cruise ship goes off, their coordinates and everything like that are constantly tracked. So this cruise stops. Obviously, there's something going on. Maybe there's some engine failure, or whatever. They're gonna come out and check that.
Not only does it stop, but it's like the bleep is off the map. You know what I mean? Like, you have this last coordinate. I don't know how they do the coordinates, but you have this last coordinate, and all of a sudden, boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, you think you'd go to that last coordinate and figure out what's going on.
And in the background, you'll hear through the movie where they're having someone is having a radio conversation on what they're finding on the ship. So if the ship was found and everything like that.
And there's no survivors, but they say that there are no survivors. They're identifying bodies.
Yeah,
and they didn't find Rick.
What was missing was Rick, such and such or whatever.
And he
said among the bodies that were not found. I mean, so obviously they found this ship. And
So that right there kind of bugged me. That I'm not saying they had to go deep into that, but they should have just had a couple helicopters flying, even if they didn't stop because they didn't see the survivors that were on that island. Even if they didn't stop, cool.
I think the colonel could have been more of a aggressive killer. He more
toying with him.
He more stuck to me as the accomplished killer, where this is not for the love of killing, this is not for survival, this is for
sport,
my personal accomplishment.
But
which kind of made, but it made his, because he had more of a successful air about him, a man of power. You see what I'm saying? So with a person that has that type of air about them, their killing, their aggressiveness, or their energy has to be different than what his was. His was more lab coat experiment type of sinister.
But again, going back to what we were saying before, is he would have probably, you would have seen him do more killing, which would have been cool too if there was more people to kill.
Yeah.
Because if they would have killed Rick and Ann off early in this movie,
shit with that bow.
Then if he would have killed those two early, then that's it. Then the movie's pretty much over.
There is no movie, really. Yeah.
That's why you needed those gap filler characters. And I mean, that's honestly a big downfall of this movie. Other than that, the movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was a big downfall of the movie. It was like and I don't mind a movie that has a slow burn, but this movie was like a slow burn for most of the movie.
To
and
the
then
point where it was like
a little bit of action. And then this was one of these movies, and I mean no disrespect, but where you really didn't have to pay attention to the movie to know what was going on. Yeah. I like to watch a movie where it grabs my attention.
Where you need to be there to see, because you don't want to, because them details are going to, you're going to have to see those in order to be able to tie them in later on. And with this movie, you didn't, you could have went to the store and came back almost.
Yes.
On some of the scenes.
Yes. And like another thing, I mean, a movie doesn't have to be deep in a story, which with this movie would help some more. But if they had some just amazing kills with this same story, this movie would have been great. And it would have been like one of those things where I've been like, yo, like some oh shit kills, some kills where it's like, yo, you don't want to miss this kill type of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Other than that, the movie, you could have just audiobooked this movie, so to speak. You could have just listened to it.
Yeah.
And seen things here and there, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty fun movie. I will say, I would recommend it. I don't know if I would personally watch this again, but I would definitely recommend it because someone out there really likes this movie. Someone out there really hates this movie, I'm sure. But I think somebody really like this would really enjoy this movie. I did enjoy it. I just don't know if I enjoyed it enough as a rewatch. Mm-hmm. And I say go check it out. I honestly do.
I would too.
And you got anything else you want to say about this?
I think we talked about what would make this movie better.
Yeah.
No, I think that. I think that should wrap it. That was a real good summary. We talked about what we would change about the movie. Oh, another thing I would change. I would add a fucking black guy. I don't care. Say what you want. I would add a black. You had not one.
And it's a
Not
cruise.
one,
So you might as well
not-
say Spanish
Not one
too.
that was working on a ship carrying something in the kitchen. You had none. None? No black guys.
Nope.
Not one. Now y'all bugging. Y'all are bugging out. Now y'all are definitely bugging for that. Get you a black guy. I'm not gonna even entertain the other word because that's not what that's what we're not gonna do. But yeah, get you a black guy. Like what's wrong with y'all? Y'all don't have nobody ratchet in there. There's no gum popping. Nobody talking about no chicken. Like fine, if you're gonna fit the stereotypes, at least fit the. But you try to just totally dodge every possibility of any stereotype being tied to you. Nah, man. Sometimes that controversy is what you need for your movie. Get you a black guy, someone of ethnic orient that is dark. That's what I'm saying.
That wouldn't have made me mad at all with that. But again, with that being said, more people in general on the freaking island that were survivors from the ship.
Yeah.
Let's say, because, okay, I'll say this too. Because the guy and the girl kind of had a conflict on the ship, let's say every single survivor had a conflict with each other, but they had to stick together to survive.
That would have made it lit.
But
that would have made it lit.
Even if you only had two survivors, the same two survivors, but if you had, let's say, a group of 10 people, and within the first half hour, maybe 4 of them get killed off, and they just keep getting killed off. Let's say the first few get killed off because they're not coexisting together. They're not sticking together. They're kind of just fighting, doing their own shit. And then by the time they finally figure it out, the group is so small.
There was only a few of them. That would have made it
from
better.
There. Yeah.
That would have made it way
Because you could still have the same story of the hunter, and he really wants to kill Rick, but you still have all these other people that he's like, well, you know what? These are pretty much the same thing he said earlier when he blew up the boat, that these are just casualties, whatever. Hey, these are just extra bonus. These are more trophies for me, but you're like the main trophy pretty much. But they didn't do that either. And had they done that right there, this movie would have been a 7.5 to an 8 for me.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Again, like I said, check this movie out, though. I will say that. Definitely check it out.
I'll go check it out.
Always support independent films. If you like them, love them, hate them, give them a watch. Like I said, I gave this movie a 5.5. You gave it, what, a 6.5?
Yeah.
And definitely check it out. Leave some comments. Tell me what you guys think of the movie. And anything else you want to throw in there?
No. Shout out to my family, wife downstairs, kids, all of them. I'm not even gonna name all of them because I don't like half of them. But
This guy.
yeah, shout out to you guys. Thanks for having me back, having me on again. And this was cool.
We will.
I like the movie. Yeah, y'all go check the movie out, man. And I would even encourage you to check out the movies that the other movies, other genres
Wild Eye releasing.
That Wild Eye's releasing. Like I would definitely check them out because there's obviously something for everyone. And
Definitely.
Something's gonna catch your eye. You may not view it how we would, and that's the beauty of exploring different things. But I would definitely encourage people to do that. Yeah.
Yep. As he said, shout out to the families and all that. Shout out to all you listeners. Thank you so much for listening and helping this podcast grow. Because without you guys, this podcast would have
over 1,000, and we're talking 6 months. So growth is definitely there.
Keep it up. And
keep that up.
Again, if you guys have any requests as far as movies you want to hear reviewed, or if you would like to be on here to review, email me at horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram, horror_with_sir_sturdy. All I post is horror stuff, as you guys see.
Yeah.
Hit up my Facebook groups and fan page. They're both called Horror with Sir. Like the period sign, so Horror with Sir.sturdy. You'll find them both on there. Go there, join in like them, and have some fun in the group. Share some horror stuff, and hey, like I said, hit me up.
Memes, videos,
everything, anything to do with horror is welcome on the page.
All that.
Anything to do with horror.
All that. If
And-
it's funny, if it's inappropriate, if
Yep.
it's creepy, yeah, all that good stuff. All
And
that.
another thing is, again, big shout out to Wild Eye Releasing for sending me this movie. And again, I'm going to do the other 6 movies. I'll read them off for you one more time. Again, it's Wild Eye Releasing.
Wow,
And the movies are The Devil's Well, The Jurassic Dead, House of Salem, Bojangles, Bone Jangles, sorry, not Bojangles, Bone Jangles, 2047 Virtual Revolution, the movie we just reviewed, Never Leave Alive, and House on Elm Lake. So yes, check that out. And just, again, thank you all for listening. It's awesome. Jason, again, I appreciate you coming on again, bro.
No doubt.
You'll definitely be on here again. We gotta
Yeah,
we gotta
we'll do this
figure
real
something out.
soon. We'll do this real soon.
And for all you listeners, never leave alive.
Which I felt no one should have
Which-
left alive, which was wrong because 2 people actually left
Yes.
very alive.
So I'm gonna say to you guys, always leave alive.
Always leave alive. That's the goal. Because if you never leave alive, then, I mean,
You ain't alive.
you're not alive when you leave. And that's just bad. Who wants to leave dead? No one planned on leaving dead. So it shouldn't be never leave alive. It's never leave dead.
There
That
you
should
go.
be it. Never leave dead. Because you don't want to leave dead. It's not cool. Like, I wouldn't like it.
IMDb gave this movie a 4.1 out of 10. That's all I'm gonna read about that. But again, thanks to all the listeners. Thanks to all my followers. Thanks again for coming on again, Jason.
Word.
And as always, I'll see you in your nightmares. And the only colonel I respect is Colonel Sanders.